We're just going to do a little video, a little review on BSA A10s. We've got two here, so we'll just take them for a little ride. I'll just do a quick little walk round. Mine's a 1958. I think this is, what is yours, a 1962? 1960. Yeah. So, right, we'll go and take them for a ride. Yeah, these are parallel twins, 650cc. These are sort of ideal if you just for the B roads, just for a bit of adventure on the back lanes. I'd say they've got really smooth suspension. The bikes themselves are a bit vibey, you know, they're quite old, but I mean, they supposedly have a top speed of over 80 miles an hour, but we sort of, on the back roads, sort of 40 to 55 is where they seem happy. But there's, obviously, compared to a modern bike, you know, your brakes, it's more like 75% with your back brake, 25% with your front brake. You have to have, when you get used to them, you just look miles ahead before you start braking. But once you get used to them, they're fine. Also on these, if you haven't had an old, sort of old British bike or an old vintage bike, the gear stick is on the right hand side instead of the left hand side. So obviously your brake pedal for your rear brake is on the left hand side, but everything else is the same. Again, you think, oh, you won't get used to it, but after a couple of miles you don't even think about it. And then I can just jump on one of my newer bikes and you don't even think about it. You just, you know, the gear's on the other side, but within a mile or two you're not even thinking about it. So on these gearboxes it's on the right hand side, it's one up and then you go down, so which is, again, you don't really think about it too much once you get riding on them. Go, get a bit beside. The other good thing about these old bikes is the fuel economy. I don't know exactly how many miles to a gallon it goes, but I filled my tank up before. We've gone on a 200-mile ride and there's still petrol left in the tank. You know, you think, oh, we must be running out, but they're quite a low revving engine. Again, no indicators on these bikes. the sort of bike you buy if you just want to go for a relaxing ride out. This, you know, they're not sporty by any means. It's just a very steady sort of a plodding bike. These A10s used to mainly get used with sidecars in the day. People that used to bolt a sidecar to them and that'd be your transport. But nowadays most people just use them as we do, just a bit of fun. We're sort of going from Driffield to Pickering to one of the sort of bike cafes there, the what is it there? The NYC 500, and then we're going to end up at Seaways Cafe at Friday Fall. But we're just going to use all the B roads. You know, there's a couple of little A roads we might have to go on for maybe a mile or so, but if you've never had an old British bike and it's something you're thinking of, you've got to be prepared to do a bit of tinkering. You know, these, you know, don't expect you can just take it for a service once a year, turn a key and off you go. These are kickstart. On the carburetors you have a little tickler, so you give that a bit of a tickle when you first ever turn it on, turn the fuel on, fill the carb, and usually within 2 or 3 kicks from cold you're off, and then they're usually first or second kick after that all day long. But obviously they have points. I've been on quite a lot of different A10s and everyone feels slightly different. They all have their own little soundtracks. All the engines seem to rattle in a different way. The one I'm on now has most probably been round the clock about 3 or 4 times, and it is starting to just, if you've gone up an hill and it's been labouring a bit, it might chuff out a bit of smoke. So it's, whether it's just the piston rings or whatever, it's I keep saying I'm going to take the head off and the barrels off and just check the pistons. I've been saying that for about the last 3 or 4 years, but I might get around to it this winter. But it starts first or second kick. It runs really smooth, there's no lack of power, it's just a fun little bike. And the good thing about the BSA A10s is the prices are quite reasonable compared to the more, well, you might say more desirable, I say like a Gold Star or something like that. You know, you can pay a lot of money, but when you have a ride on one of these, you'll just think, you know, you've got the same sort of fun, similar engine, and because you sort of, your brakes, you know, they do take a bit of getting used to. Your speed's really limited down to a lot of you know, compared to modern bikes where you can just, you know, the brakes are just so good. Where these, well, I'm used to it, I mean, because we ride them all the time, I don't really think about it. But if this was your first go on an old bike, you'd be thinking, you know, those brakes are terrible. But as you get used to them, and because you're not going, you know, massive speeds, you know, there's yeah, but as you see on Nick's bike, all we've got is drum brakes. But because your front drum brake is also on a cable, there's no hydraulics. It's you know, you need a lot of pressure on your lever if you was just hoping to stop with just your front brake. So that's why you put your back brakes on. These are really strong, so that's what I was saying earlier. You'll most probably use 75% back brake to 25% front brake in most situations. quite a few of our friends have these A10s, so I'll try and if we get out one day, maybe 6 or 7 of us on these, I'll add in a video. The thing that does surprise me on these is the handling is actually quite good. Again, if you jump off a modern bike, you know, you sort of expect them to be good, but you'll get on something like this and you'll be, when you first get on, you'll be thinking, oh no, this won't go around the corner, and then the more miles you do on them, you just realise, you know, it'll go around the, you know, a corner a lot better than you think it'll go around. Again, because if you look at Nick's bike, where the stand is and how low the pegs are, you are sort of limited to your lean anyway, and these old tyres are sort of fairly square, so you don't run much tyre pressure. They're real low pressures, so the tyres do flex as you go around the corner, and it is a bit of a weird feeling until you get used to it. Right, that's it for now.